and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Tonight we find out if Hong Kong is following a wave of new food technology.
And also, what keeps old people going well past their retirement age?
James, do you believe in these food substitutes like plant-based meat or having bugs for your protein?
Yeah, Mel, I've heard of them. I think for now I'll play it safe, stick with exercising.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Anyway, in this next report, Alice Kahn finds out if we're catching up with the rest of the world in this new food trend.
They eat very nice food, you know. This is what I ate this morning.
Tanja Sobko is a Swedish food, environment, and health professor at a university in Hong Kong. She's putting these black soldier larvae flies in a compost pile. They don't just make the soil rich for her plants, they also make a part of her meal.
They're hiding there, but maybe 200. So I think if I would have more, I would try to clean them and to eat them.
Apart from flies, Sobko also consumes crickets in powder form. She buys online from the US, Canada, and Thailand.
The powder, because it's easy. It's a good protein. Magnesium and many micro and macronutrients.
She says farming insects is more environmentally friendly than buying meat.
Methane, 20% of greenhouse gas emissions actually come from food and from waste and how we produce food. And that is due to methane. It's much more damage to the environment. Well, insects don't produce any of that.
Today she is cooking pasta and miso soup using the cricket powder. Sobko has been actively promoting insects as an alternative food. She also teaches her students to make food with cricket powder. Although insects aren't a staple of Hong Kong or Western cuisine, Sobko says they currently supplement the diets of about 2 billion people worldwide. The United Nations projects the world population will reach 9.7 billion by 2050, up from 7.6 billion today. Demand for food is estimated to grow by 70% during this period. In 2013, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN said eating insects could help address the increasing demand for food. The FAO says about 1,900 insects are edible. This includes mealworms, grasshoppers, ants, and crickets. Clayton consumes insects at least 3 times a week. This afternoon, he's visiting the bird garden in Mongkok on the hunt for mealworms.
This is mealworms. A lot of people who does edible insect, they start with these.
Clayton also breeds the mealworms, which are beetle larvae, at home for self-consumption.
This is beetles. They produce a lot of eggs. And then the worms will start growing again. I can start the harvesting process by pressing right here. And they'll start to have a vibration to awaken the worms, and they'll start crawling down through the holes.
He usually harvests 300 grams of mealworms at a time. Today, he invites his friend to try his steamed eggs with mealworms.
Yeah, maybe more soy sauce would be pretty good.
It's actually not, the flavor isn't that strong. It's not what I expected. It's actually it's very neutral.
Clayton grows his worms in a hive he bought from industrial designer Katharina Unger. Inspired by the UN's report on edible insects, Katharina set up her own company in 2015, producing desktop hives to raise insects at home. For around $7,000, her customers can grow their own edible insects at home. So far, she's sold a few hundred hives, mainly to mainland and European clients.
For insects, we can create systems that are somewhat independent from land resources because we can feed them byproducts, and they can be vertically grown. If you tell people that, look, does this look similar to a shrimp, then many people will say, oh yeah. So we're trying to bring up new associations, positive stories about insects, that they're clean and healthy.
Katharina has been working with restaurant chefs in Europe to create mealworm dishes.
They have made burgers as well. They have made chocolates, desserts with it. It's something that people are very interested in.
We took to the street and asked people whether they'd be interested in eating bugs.
都幾脆啊，OK 啊。It's just like French fries.
Are you willing to have these regular?
Regular? No, not regular. Sometimes it's good.
Most people were scared of the mealworms.
Try?
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not going to try that. You're on TV live.
Oh, it's scary. So scary. No.
You know that it's rich in protein, but how do you put it in the mouth, inside your mouth?
Nutrition academic Jimmy Louie says edible insects are a legitimate food alternative.
It's a complete protein, so you don't have to do any complementation. So if you cook it through, when all the bacteria die, then there's no safety concern.
But he warns some people may be allergic to insect protein.